In part C, we're going to find the domain and range of our f inverse. But this is also going to allow us to find the range of f. Let's go ahead and recall that the domain and range of f inverse is the range and domain of f in reverse. One useful way that we can use this information is that, again, if we want to find the range of our function f, this is going to be the same thing as finding the domain of f inverse. So if you ever have a problem with finding the range of the function, just go ahead and find the inverse and then find the domain of the inverse function. Let's go ahead and sketch the graph of a function and its inverse. Suppose we're given the graph y is equal to the square root of x. Then find the inverse, sketch both graphs, and state the domain and range. Let's start this off by finding the inverse. We know that y is equal to the square root of x is defined when x is greater than 0. This function we know is 1-to-1. If you want to do a quick check, the graph of y is equal to the square root of x is shaped like this, and so it passes a horizontal line test. So we know it's 1-to-1, which means we can find its inverse. Squaring both sides of this equation, we get y squared is equal to x, which means the inverse of this function is going to be y is equal to x squared. Let me go ahead and label this as f, and we'll label this one as f inverse. Then we just stated that the domain of f is all numbers between 0 and infinity, and actually it includes 0. This means that we just found the range of f inverse. The range of our function is also 0 to infinity. Now let's go ahead and find the domain of f inverse. Well, the domain of f inverse is again equal to the range of f. And in this case, since we know the domain of f, we know that f, the y values between f vary between 0 and infinity, which means the domain of f inverse is also 0 to infinity here. So in this case, the domain and range of both functions are equal to each other. Let's go ahead and draw the graph of these two functions on the next page. Sketching the graph of the square root of x, we see that it looks something like this. And then to obtain the graph of the inverse, we know that the inverse is given by y is equal to x squared, where we're only looking at x values that are greater than or equal to 0. So the red graph is the picture of y is equal to x squared.